Welcome back to the Park Kids to Park Dads podcast. I'm Adam, joined here by my brother Mitch,
How we doing?
and decided what we'll chat about today is our experiences on property with the Disney hotels. So, kind of run through a little bit of what our um, favorite places to stay, where our least magical experiences were, and and where we'd like to stay. If money were no object, which it certainly is. So, Mitch, why don't you kick us off with one of your favorite on-property hotels?
Um, so I have to say that pre-closing of Jelly Rolls and elimination of ESPN, the Boardwalk was my number one. Um, the proximity to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, you can't beat that. Walking distance to both. Um, and then you can always take the boats. So I'd say pre-closing of those two locations, barring that, definitely the Boardwalk for me was my number one.
Nice.
For nostalgia reasons, we had a family trip back in 2003 with I think there were 17 of us, a little bit younger then. Was the Caribbean Beach Resort.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, we
those are
stayed in Jamaica
yeah,
on that trip in there.
which was nice. It was kind of a little bit off the main run, but still walking distance to the food court and had a nice little middle area where you can walk through plants and bridges and fish and stuff like that. A little jungle, as I thought of when I was, gosh, sixth or seventh grade. Um,
Mhm.
so everything seemed bigger back then. But uh, yes, food court there that was great.
It's one of the larger resorts,
Yeah.
Caribbean Beach, and now it's on the Skyliner,
Hmm.
which adds some draw. To
Yeah.
throw, but
But I was just to add to that real quick, it was great in the sense that coming back or to and from the resorts, we were always like the first stop coming back, or depending on which park you were going to, you were the first stop getting on the bus. So
Mhm.
there's always seats, and after a long day, get off the bus and you're right at your spot.
Yeah. To throw it back to the boardwalk one comment, I agree 1,000% in terms of proximity. The walk into the International Gateway, I mean that Yacht and Beach, uh, it's it's one of the main draws I've stayed at Boardwalk in the past. Um, I will say my only negative with Boardwalk, and it is not on one of my negative. It's not one of my least favorite by any stretch, is the lack of food on the not I say on property. That sounds stupid because this stuff's right out on the boardwalk, right?
Right.
But uh, breakfast was really the only one, and there's the bakery, so you could get like a sandwich or a cinnamon roll or whatever out there, but um, it just wasn't. Everything in there was so sweet, right? It was a bakery. It wasn't what I was looking for personally
Yep.
when I'd go for breakfast. But barring that, though, it has a really good pool. Um, you can look over the water. You can hang out on the boardwalk. You mentioned jelly rolls and stuff, obviously, but they had the cigars in the what's it called, the
Gift
general
shop.
store, the
Yep.
gift. Yeah, they had that outside on the boardwalk as well, in the larger um, gift shop. So now boardwalk is definitely. I mean, it's a deluxe resort for a reason, right? It has a lot of the perks, but love that. Caribbean Beach, definitely a good one for that reason. That's the only time I've ever stayed at Caribbean Beach. We've had the opportunity to go there other times, but
Yeah. Same here.
have opted for different ones. Um, I'll hit you with two of my favorites, and we'll kick it back to you again. Um, Port Orleans French Quarter and Port Orleans Riverside
Mm.
are two of my favorites for different reasons. The Riverside one has great food. I really like the theming over there. Um, you got the beignets and stuff like that. Actually, when we were down there, not this past October, but the year before for the golf trip, we went fishing on
Yep.
one of the charters, and we spent a good deal of time in and around that resort as well. But really enjoy that one. And the walk over, short walk over, is French Quarter, and the theming there, the New Orleans Mardi Gras. you know, that what the French Quarter is, right? But that theming has always, I'll say, resonated with me. I enjoy it a lot over there. The rooms are always I've always had good luck with the rooms. We've had the different types in the main buildings close to the front, and not that it's a very big resort, but we've also had the Royal. I can't remember the name of it now. I had it earlier, but the newly themed Royal rooms that like
Yeah,
they're princess themed or whatever. We've had
yeah,
those too.
Tiana rooms. Yeah,
Yeah, and just I like the food court there at French
and
Quarter.
the pool's very kid friendly. It's a
Yeah,
nice setup for the kids with the slide and stuff. Yeah,
right. Yeah, so definitely one of two of my favorites in that regard. So it's a nice place to just walk around too.
yeah, good atmosphere, really
Mhm.
good theming. Um, I have to say that Saratoga Springs, not so much for, I guess, the theming, has some special meaning to me, but I've been there, stayed there probably I think 4, maybe 5 times now, on and off with aunts and uncles, myself, and proposed to my now wife there. I've had some short weekend trips there. The walk to Disney Springs, big food and beverage guy, so being able to just walk over at nighttime after hanging out at the pool or something is really, it's a great location. Um, and then they have 2 decent sized pools, plus the quiet pools and hot tubs and stuff scattered throughout. Location, the golf courses are right there. You're on the golf courses. So Saratoga Springs would probably be another top one for me. Um, what did you got?
No, I like Saratoga. I've stayed in College Park, that section.
Congress Park?
Yeah. Or is it Congress?
Congress,
That
yeah.
might be Congress Park. Yeah,
Yeah.
College Park is in Maryland. Um, but yeah, I've stayed in College Park, Congress Park, uh, over there before. Nice little walk to the pool from where we were. Like it was close enough that it was close, but far enough away that you didn't have the noise and the people and all that kind of stuff. So no, that's a good one. Um, I would say my next favorite is the Hospitality House area in Old Key West. Um, I've stayed a bunch of different spots on property there through DVC. Uh, I will say Hospitality House, which is essentially the area directly behind, behind in front of the
Just depending
lobby.
on where you're looking at, the way it
Yeah,
is, yeah.
depending where you're in it, right? In front of the lobby, that one, and then it's the first section as soon as you cross the bridge on the right as you cross the bridge. Um, we've always stayed in the 2 bedroom or the 3 bedroom there because it's always been bigger family trips when we stayed at Old Key West, and just the spaciousness of the room is super nice. Especially I've mentioned before, 4 kids. It's nice to not have everybody kind of on top of each other when you're trying to spend time at the resort itself. It has a balcony or patio, depending on which you're on, what floor. No elevators, which kind of is not my favorite thing in the world, but you can
Old
deal.
school. Yeah.
But full kitchen, you know, full fridge, washer dryer in the room. The kids love the whirlpool tubs
Mhm.
there. But so that's the room itself. But the pool is a great pool. They have a sand playground there. In fact, when we were just down there this last year, we spent 2 days essentially
Just at the
at that
pool.
pool.
Yeah.
Um, the Gurgling Suitcase, I think it's called. The bar
Mm.
up by
Uncle Fran would know.
he would know. You're right. That there's that. It has Olivia's, which you have the sit down and you have their to go, and then they have their to go thing outside as well. Um, and all the Disney resorts have this too, but the activity center, um, we utilized that the last time we were there too. So
Mhm.
just all around for us, Key West, Old Key West has been a great resort for our family.
And that's kind of, when you talk about the rooms, kind of also why I like Saratoga. They have the bigger rooms there, the 1 and 2 bedrooms. Being DVC members, that's it works out if you're making bigger trips, especially you with so many in your party. But for us, like I like to be able to, if I'm on vacation, have a larger bed and then not have to worry about sleeping in a queen, um, or 2 queens and stuff like that. So I splurge a little bit more on that side of things.
Hmm.
Um, just because after 8-10 hours a day at the park. Kind of last thing I want is a kid crawling into bed and sleeping sideways, and I end up
Taking
with
you.
this much room on the on the mattress. But yeah, I'd say kind of like my last top tier um, for me is actually it's an off property resort. I love the Hilton in Disney Springs.
Lake Buena Vista one.
Yeah.
Ben Hillis.
Uh,
Hmm.
like I said, another one for great for location. The restaurants in there are awesome. Um, had a few good trips staying there. And you're close enough to everything where they still provide shuttles to all the parks. It's technically a Disney resort, um, being on property and partnered with Disney. So that's probably like my last that I've stayed at. I mean, I've stayed at tons and tons of different hotels, but some of them farther down on the not so magical, if you will.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I've stayed there multitude of times as well because that's Hilton points for me, right? So
Hmm.
it's been, with my work, earn the points. It's a nice free, we'll call it, transition to that property. It's always clean, which is great too. And it's got I don't spend much time by the pool bar, but I know you guys have spent, you and Uncle Fran and Jake have spent time in the year over the years there. And what's the name of the bar on the first floor? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh man, Uncle Fran would kill
Man, this
me.
is a phone a friend, Uncle Fran, but
Yeah,
there's a bar on the first floor, right near the elevators with that's the exit to like the conference area and stuff. And
I
it's a
want to say
really
it's TJ's, but it's not.
no, but it's anyways, it's a good one. And they have Benihana's on site too. So
Which is
I'm
a
gonna
fan
go,
favorite.
yeah, right. I'm gonna hit my last two. Um, I'm gonna say Art of Animation. Not even so much for me, but it was awesome having the kids there. In fact, we went there and just visited last time just to see the Cars area and Nemo and um, Lion King. So the theming of the park for the kids, they really, really enjoyed that. They have the big pool in the center, and they have a couple quiet pools, a very big food court, very big gift shop, bigger than most in that regard. Um, I think it's technically, I think it's a moderate. But they have the family suites. When the kids
Right.
were a little bit smaller, we were able to do that. Now that the twins are 12, it just doesn't really work out logistically. Too close proximity, like I mentioned, that we didn't deal with at Old Key West. So yeah, Art of Animation.
I've personally never stayed there. I've been to there just to check the place out. But yeah, I've never actually stayed.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. With a family of four, you can get one of the family suites. You got the king bed in the bedroom. You got the pull down the Murphy bed.
Yep.
That's the table area, and then you got the pull out on the sofa, so you can still have the kids separate and their own space kind of. And it has like a kitchenette kind of deal. So it's cool though, but everything's like very themed. So there's that one. And then uh, my last one would be Kadani Village at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Also never been.
No? Okay. Well, we had a Savannah view, which for all intents and purposes, that's why it's on the list. It was cool to look out your window and see the giraffes eating off the trees and the fence, and you see the zebras trotting around and stuff like that. We're a big zoo family, zoos and aquariums, and
Yeah.
and that's I mean, again, where else are you going to get it here? So not didn't blow me away in terms of some of the other amenities. The pool was nice. It's a long walk to the main building, the Jumbo House building, but overall, really enjoyed the theming within the room, the Savannah view itself. At the time we were there wasn't a full breakfast. I think they've changed and added some more breakfast menu options. It was like uh, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or a sausage, egg, and cheese
Yeah.
bagel or something like that in a warmer. And I think they've gone to some more different things now. This was quite a while ago, but it was another DVC situation for us that we stayed there. But yeah, though that rounds my six, which is a lot. But that rounds out my top end.
I do have two honorable mentions that are kind of middle of the road for me, experience wise. Definitely not family. I say family friendly. Um, which would be Bay Lake Towers. That one, nice resort, a little bit more modern, obviously.
Yeah.
Proximity to Magic Kingdom, you can't beat that. Um, Walkable distance, and I'll be honest, just spaced on the second one. But yeah, so Bay Lake, stayed there once, had a good time.
Mhm.
Really cool rooftop bar.
Yeah.
And over to Contemporary, you can go to California Grill. It's California
Yeah. I've
Grill.
stayed at Bay Lake once. We stayed for, I think, 3 nights. But we did go to the bar upstairs. Um, Shout out Uncle Fran. That's
Yeah,
the
right.
rum chata and
That's
fireball
yeah,
specialty.
that leads to babies.
There, yeah, that's
That's
where we ended up. But
Disney pregnancy, what, 3? So, Beach Club was the other one. So I stayed at Beach Club. Um, Used to work at the yacht club, stayed at the beach club. That was a trip with mom, and the room was nice, but I just felt like it was there. Like there was nothing special
Mhm.
about it. The pool was cool, but that's really about it. I mean, outside, I mean, yeah, you're still in the same walking distance of Hollywood Studios and Epcot. Um, but I just think it was okay
Gotcha.
for the price you pay for those rooms. Um, Outside of
Yeah,
being in
for
DVC
deluxe.
and using the points, like
Hmm.
you kind of expect a little bit more. Right? It's a little bit higher end service, which okay, great. But Disney delivers great service on everything, right? So it's nothing I say that's over the top or it's wow, I got to go back and stay there.
Gotcha.
You want to kick off your bottom tier? The
Yeah.
places you would not. I mean, if you had to, you're going to Disney.
I
You
mean,
gotta
yeah,
have
if I
somewhere.
had
You
to,
got to
I'd
stay
go.
there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my first one was All Star Sports. Uh, I was younger
Yeah.
when I stayed there. Different, you know, different tax bracket problems back in those days. But yeah, no, I we stayed at All Star Sports, and it's exactly this have been early 2000s, probably 2005, maybe six. But it's what you think of when you think of a
Mm,
value kind of resort. The room was now, granted, I didn't have the best situation with the room itself. We had an issue with our AC, so it was like dripping, so the floor was wet, like all around the AC unit was wet, so the room kind of was like mildewy and
yeah.
smelled. Um, but yeah, so there was that. Uh, at the time, the buses. I mean, it was only buses, right? There was no Skyliner or anything back then, obviously, but it was just slammed. It was where all the sports teams were that were staying that were going to go do something at Wide World of Sports or cheer competitions or whatever the heck people were doing. But
Yeah.
it was just slammed with people, so everything was a huge wait to get on the bus. You'd have to wait for 2 or 3 Magic Kingdom buses to get on the one. The food court was slammed and dirty. Um, Not a shot at Disney. I'm sure things have changed a lot in 20 years there, but just again, this is our experiences in these places.
Yeah.
Um, that's my bottom one.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you there. That was the bottom of my list. I never stayed at All Stars Music.
Mm-hmm.
I've stayed at movies and at sports. And it kind of goes sports then movies. At least the movies you got, the Lion King and Simba or Cars and stuff that are floating around, and there's some animated big figures around the hotels, and I think the theming's a little bit better.
Yeah,
Um, More so than just a big football and a
and the bowling
foosball
ball, the
area
bowling
and a
pin,
bowling
and
bay. Yeah, so I think that's kind of I put them on the same level pretty much. But sports was
mm-hmm.
definitely the worst one I stayed at. And then I'm gonna roll into to round out my bottom three. Would be Pop Century.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've stayed there, it's been jam packed. They have two good things going for them. I know they just renovated recently. Please pardon our pixie dust, but they have the food court, which I also worked at, um, which is the busiest one on all of Disney property,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the Skyliner.
Yeah,
So those are the two highlights I think for that hotel, but they're all along the same lines of being motels, right? You have the outside doors going into the rooms. They're all the same size rooms, standards. Um, and I think that it's just meh. Like it's, but you're paying maybe $200 a night, 250 a night for Pop Century,
yeah,
189 for All Star, not a little bit lower, maybe in off season. But at the end of the day, I think it's all that same motel style. When I'm going to Disney, if I'm spending the money, I want that theming. I want that indoor in the air conditioning, walking down the hallways with the paintings and stuff on the walls. So that rounds out my bottom three for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would agree with you there. I mean, as far as theming goes, the reason they're value resorts, right? It's the reason they're
Yeah.
at the bottom of the price structure. I would only ever stay at a value again in the future if it were because I was spending no time at the resort whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna do rope drop to fireworks, or if I was gonna do one of those 48-hour turns, right? You leave your house at 4 a.m., you fly in, you're gonna do all day in the park, you're gonna sleep somewhere, you're gonna get up at 6 and hit the rope drop, and you're out the next night. That's pretty much the only time I do it at this point. But we're fortunate, we're spoiled that we can, right? We can make that happen.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, we save for it and make it
yeah,
work within our budgets, but
right. Well,
that's why you
Disney
do it.
budgets are different than real budgets, but
Yeah.
they're
It's like women going to Target. It's not a
that's
real
their
budget.
that's their um so my bottom three, so my next two, um I Coronado Springs. Um I didn't I stayed there once. It's a conference resort, right? It's like a business resort. There wasn't really much to it as far as any type of theming. It didn't feel like a Disney resort to me comparatively to the other places we've stayed. Maybe
Yeah.
it's because the theming wasn't so over the top. It was a more subtle or subdued. But for my money in that tier, in that moderate tier, there's four other places I'd rather stay. So there was that. And then lastly, I would say that my third least um, favorite resort would be um, the Bay Lake Tower. And for the money, not
Mm.
necessarily because it was bad, because it wasn't bad. The bar was great. I already mentioned it. I really liked that bar. But it's pre the Incredibles theming, right? There was no theming in there that was like
I didn't even know there was theming. So
they just changed
must have
in
been
contemporary. They just changed Incredibles to
gotcha. Yeah.
Incredibles
I
theming.
didn't even
I don't
know
know if
that.
Bay Lake's
Yeah.
jump on that board or not. Um, haven't been there in 9 years. 9, yeah, Ariana's 9, so 10 years. Um, and you know, the proximity to the park was great. So there's definitely some positives to it. But for what it costs to stay at that resort, I felt like it was like a higher end Marriott. Like I've stayed in New York City at the hotels in Times Square. I've stayed some other places like in Vegas and whatnot, and it had that type of feel to it from
Yeah. Vegas is a good way to put that.
get it clean, get it out
Yeah.
type of thing.
Turn
You know,
burn.
I understand the turnover situation, but just
Yeah.
generally, that one is I would 100% stay there again if somebody offered me a room or if it paid in
Of course. Yeah.
in the same line as some of the other ones, but just wasn't anything special for a deluxe resort. Um, there's that. So what's on your wish list? Give us two of your where you'd like to
I
stay.
only had two. Other resorts that I could really, just if it happens, great. Um, so kind of the Polynesian, is probably my number one. And when I say that, they have the Polynesian Tower being built. Um, so that's definitely number one on my list. I would love to stay at the old Polynesian as well. And one of those bungalows on the water, really, really cool. Um, if not, I'll take a room inside, no big deal. Um, but the second would be, and then you get to watch the fireworks on the beach. You get to hear the sounds. The pool's really cool. They just renovated the pool, I think 3 or 4 years ago. Just run in a refurb and got that all up to date and stuff. So, the number two would be the Riviera. Um, I've heard some good things about that. It's definitely a different style of hotel. But I think that'd be a really cool one to check out. I like the room layout, the theming on it. So those would be my one and two. A lot of people, the Grand Floridian, $1,000, $2,000 a night, like, eh, eh.
Yeah, yeah. Polynesian's my number one as well. Either the bungalow or the main building. I'm good with either one. Uh, that's the type of type of resort that I've just walked around in the past just to check it out. Like you go to the gift shop, you go to Ohana's,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
you grab something at Kona, whatever. But it's a cool spot just to be around, in my opinion. So I'd like to definitely stay there. And my other one is Wilderness Lodge. I've never stayed there as many times as I've been on property, and uh, I like that log cabin type of vibe, right? Just
yeah,
that out in the woods kind of scenario. Uh, I think we've had the option to stay there before. We weighed Kidani Village against that one and took Kidani Village for the Savannah situation. But um, yeah, those are my two. Both obviously
yeah.
deluxes. Both have a big number attached to them. But
Yeah, I mean, I like Wilderness Lodge. I love Whispering Canyon. I think the food there is outstanding.
mhm.
Um, I got some good memories there with my brother Jordan. A little horse race around the restaurant and eating dust and falling over
Yeah,
on
you
camera.
explore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
yeah, the pass the catch
but
up situation. Yeah.
but I'm not a hey, I'm going down to Florida. I want to stay in the woods. Um, kind of, it just brings me back to like, oh, I'm in the mountains, like, which is
Hmm.
the whole point of it. Great,
Yeah, yeah.
but just not for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. I don't necessarily think fireplace. You know what I mean? While I'm in Florida, so I understand what you're saying. But
Yeah,
it's different. I've stayed at like a Great Wolf Lodge, right? That water park, and stayed at some other spots that have like that type of theming. Stayed at a ski resort a couple years ago that had, it was decked out uh, as far as that kind of stuff goes, and I want to see it done as far as like the Disney way at that level, and then maybe one day like Tahoe or something like that.
yeah.
So yeah.
All right, well, yeah, that rounds out our hotels chit chat.
Hmm.
Um, you guys want to drop in the comments anywhere you prefer to stay, one or the other, why? Some of the places maybe we haven't stayed. Um, but do you want to roll into some questionnaires here I got for you after my dismal showing last week?
Yeah, he's
Uh,
gonna turn the tables on me, I guess.
try to get some vengeance here. So what I got for you is kind of along the same lines of your top 10 thing. List of top 10. But we're gonna go with the longest queue. So the rides that are visited the most, uh, in all of Disney. And you got 10 of them, top 10. I'll give you 3 hints,
Hmm.
and we can go whenever you're ready.
It's not the longest physical queue. It's the longest it takes to get on
Cor-
the ride.
Correct. Like what ride is visited the most? Like what
Okay.
would be the longest queue for that?
So
For any given
if
ride.
I pull up the app, on any given day, typically these are the rides that have the longest wait times to get
I,
into
I,
the
I guess more so of highest traffic volume. Sorry,
highest traffic.
highest
Oh, okay.
traffic. Yeah.
So that means they got to be able to turn people over pretty quick.
Hmm, That
So like
depends on
it could
what
be
your
sneaky
definition of
like
turnover is.
the carousel because it operates so many times as opposed to Rise of the Resistance, which takes a lot longer to get on.
Yeah, but think of how many, I guess,
How many people can fit on Rise?
carriages arise, yeah, versus the
Yeah.
carousel of 20 people.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's going to be a tough one. Right
Okay.
back at you, buddy. All right. So, yeah, whenever you're ready,
Three
you got
strikes,
three
right?
hints and 3 strikes.
All right. So most visited in all of Disney World. Um, let's start in Magic Kingdom and let's say Pirates.
Pirates is on there. That is number 7.
Okay. Let's stick there and let's say Tiana.
Not on there. Strike 1. Nor is Splash Mountain. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's do Haunted Mansion.
number 6, Haunted Mansion.
Okay. You got 4 out of 10. So as long as I do better than four, it's a real win for me.
uh,
Trying to think of rides that are old people and young people. You know
See,
what I
I
mean?
think I would have done so much better on this than vice versa, but
How about Peter Pan?
Number 4, Peter Pan.
Okay.
So you
It's
got 4,
off-putting
6, and
that I
7.
haven't hit 1, 2, and 3. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
With 1 strike, 4, 6, and 7.
Um, how about Spaceship Earth?
Not on there. 2 strikes.
Oh, all right, give me a hint.
Um,
You haven't thought of hints.
it,
That's
it
crazy.
no, I did. I'm just trying to think of which one I want to go with here. Um, they just recently changed this ride, and
For the
from
holidays?
from one setup to another, and it affects how the ride is visualized. Very recently,
From one setup to another.
visually.
So it's a refurb, a visual refurb, which happened on Tron. Test Track got a full refurb, but the entire visual is completely different inside of Test Track. But it's closed half the time because if it sprinkles, they shut it down. Let's try Tron.
Strike 3.
Strike 2.
No, you just said Spaceship Earth, and you had Tiana,
You're right.
and this
Strike
is
3.
strike 3.
Garbage.
Ratatouille. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Oh yeah.
And you
I
only
would have
got
never.
3, my friend.
That
3. 3, my
garbage.
lord.
Run through the
All
list.
right. Number 1, Seven Dwarfs Mine. Number 2, Avatar Flights of Passage. Number 3 was Rise.
Rise. Yeah. Rise was going to
Number,
be my other guess next, but go ahead.
number 5 was Space Mountain. Number
Yeah,
8 was Soarin'. And number 10 was Toy Story Mania.
I wouldn't have guessed Soren either. Because it's been around so long now, I feel like it falls off.
But,
I was going to guess Rise, but I was trying to answer the hint one.
yeah. Yeah, so recently Remy just went from 3D to
suck.
2D.
Yeah, you're right. It definitely did. I was trying to think of actually, I was probably going to guess Jungle Cruise too.
So that was an honorable mention,
Yeah.
but only at season times, like different seasons, is
Yeah.
when it spikes.
The Jingle Cruise. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
Yeah.
And as much as I wanted to guess the land, it wasn't going to be the land. Though
No,
I've seen
yeah,
a
that
ton
was
of
even on the list.
Have you ever
But
seen the TikToks about the lines during?
yeah, all the way around the food court and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
All right. So you got the
yeah.
edge. 4 right to my 3 right. But
Yep.
I already have our next questions for next week set up, so you're golden.
Great. Are they
Mhm.
holiday themed?
No.
Yeah.
No, they're Adam's trying to stump you themed.
I don't know if this was brought up in the past, but speaking of holidays, and we may jump the gun here, but I wish they brought back the Osborne lights.
Yep.
I loved the Osborne lights. I thought it was really, really cool, especially working down there. I was down there for Christmas time one year. We used to go hang out there and just walk the Osborne lights, me and my buddies, and have a beer and stuff and hang out. And they did, live music, and the music went to the lights went to the music and stuff. So the fake snow, really cool. I wish they brought those back.
Yeah, I went and visited it once. And it was definitely really cool. That whole area though is now completely
Yeah. I think it
toast.
would be something cool to have at Disney Springs, to be honest with you.
Well,
You can
it's not a
line
bad
the
idea.
shops and stuff to have that, or your restaurants and everything. So
Yeah, it's a lot more space.
yeah.
I mean, let's think for a second. Besides Disney Springs, which is definitely a good idea. What other areas in parks would that make sense for? Animals pretty much out.
Yeah. Main Street would probably be the other big one.
Mm-hmm.
Or Frontierland. You can get away with it. There's only one side in Frontier.
Yeah, because you got the water on the other side.
Yeah.
Will be cars.
Yeah, I mean, that's really about it. Epcot, you couldn't really do anything.
No.
So
Studios, you could do the main
the main drag. But I don't think it's long enough.
No, not compared to what it used to be.
Yeah.
But you could also do that main drag and then take it
Veer
to
it
the
off
left
towards. Yeah.
up the 50s prime time, that stretch up to Indiana Jones.
or even up to the right towards Tower Terror.
Yeah, up Sunset.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe you could turn that into the big to the Y around
Yeah.
the spoke, kind of in front of Mickey's Runaway Railway. That would be cool.
I was thinking even before that,
Mhm.
towards down Sunset. You got the shops on the right hand side still. You got Brown Derby's right there. So on this
Yeah,
side of Brown Derby. Yeah.
no, it's a good idea.
But
No, that would be cool.
what
Yeah,
do
I
I know?
really
I just
wanted
work
to
here.
try. I might. We're going to be in Arizona in May. If I can figure out a way to sneak a trip in the winter next year,
Yeah.
I want to get down there around the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, I think it'd be
So,
really cool. We were down there a couple years ago for right after Halloween. And I think I mentioned this on the first podcast, but we got to spend a little bit of time for the changeover. It wasn't full Christmas changeover, but we did have I think like three days after Halloween where you got probably about 70% of it up,
mhm.
which was cool. So the kids got to see that. But yeah, the tree in Magic Kingdom when you walked in, being all decorated and stuff, and some of the Mickey had wreaths down Main Street, but not quite there. No, they didn't have the snow coming down at nighttime or anything like that. Holiday Wishes wasn't out.
Yeah.
Um, so
Well, as we record this, it's the 15th, so we're only 10 days out. So one more
oh,
episode before Christmas.
speaking of, today is the anniversary of Walt Disney's death. I believe it is.
Hey Siri,
Um,
when did Walt Disney die? Yep, December 15th, 1966.
yep. So 59 years. Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. So 59 years ago today. R.I.P. to the king.
All right, the king. Jeez.
Yeah,
Uh, let's end on this. Is Walt Disney's head frozen?
I've always been a strong believer in yes,
Fair
one
enough.
way, shape, or form. Maybe not his head, but maybe his brain.
Hmm. And the conspiracy theory is that Disney created the movie Frozen and named it Frozen, so that whenever you Google Disney Frozen or
That
search
comes up.
Disney Frozen, that would show up and not Walt Disney's head.
Mm.
So that's the conspiracy theory on the naming of Frozen for those of you who made it this far. So
Yeah, he does not like warm hugs.
no.
All right,
Uh,
guys.
yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us again for another fourth episode.
Hmm.
We'll be
Yeah.
back again next week.
See you real soon.